Greetings, travelers, sightseers, historians, sidewanderers. Coastal Kev here in my adopted hometown of Picayune, Mississippi. Now we're downtown, right in the center of town here. You got the Melt over there. It's a little restaurant. And then across the street there is the post office. And we're sitting here at the Chamber of Commerce building. It's on the other corner of this busy intersection. Then across the street we got the Napa Auto Parts. Used to be called Putnam's. They sold to Napa. But the same fine people work there. Always get you good parts. They got parts for tractors and your lawnmower, and belts and hoses for anything. Pretty important in this kind of area because a lot of hot rodders and custom cars around here. Right there is the tallest building in Picayune, including the bottom floor. It's a 3-story building. There's an attic up there. 1, 2, maybe it's a 2-story, but that top part is an attic. And that's the C&R building. It's been here a long, long time. I'd say 1920s. Originally, it was the company store. C&R stands for Crosby and Rowland, and they were pioneers in some of the logging industry down here. They had a big logging lumberyard, sawmill southeast of here. Many little homes for the workers, and you could get paid in these little coins that were good for the Crosby store. And it's a general store. You could get groceries, clothing, shoes, whatever you needed, and pay them with these little coins. They came in different denominations and were issued by the lumber mill. Only good at this store. I couldn't use them anywhere else. That's the old company store. So that's the downtown here. Today's video, we're, July 23rd. It's coming up on 80 degrees, about 10 o'clock in the morning. And the African heat has been here for about a month and a half. I'm telling you, it is hot. Average temperature about 95 to 98, 60 to 70% humidity. Similar to the Congo and maybe the Amazon jungle. So people around here get all their chores done by 10 o'clock and then they hide in the air conditioning. That's right, we do have air conditioning down here. Then you could come out about 5 or 6 o'clock and get a couple hours in on your outdoor activities. But let's go down the street here and I'll show you a little more. We're just doing the downtown. I think in another episode we'll probably explore some other spots. That's southbound on Highway 11. That's the downtown down there. Chamber of Commerce. Highway 11 coming through here, it goes all the way up to Meridian. And of course in that direction you can take it to Irish Bayou right outside of New Orleans. And that's the northbound. And one of my favorite spots, Street Rods in Picayune. There's an old truck back there. Look at this. Plymouth, Scamp, Dodge, something. They sell a few cars and they work on a few cars. Looks like an International Harvester. Flatbed. There's an old gasser over there. Nice Camaro here. Oh, what is this? The Cutlass. That's an Oldsmobile Cutlass. Not a Grand National. This might be employees. Look at this thing. Little interior work. Ooh, look at that. I think that's a Firebird. There's an old Craftsman. That Jeep with a scoop. Here's an old the Z28 Camaro. Oh, there's my beauty over there. The 76 Eldorado convertible. Oh, how about an Edsel? Get you an Edsel. Yeah, that Buick looks nice. So they sell these cars, they buff them out and fix them up. Got them on display here. There's an oil change across the street, tire store. You got a Harley shop over here. I don't think it's a Harley dealer, they just work on Harleys. And here's the shop back here. Bring your hot rod here and have them work on it, paint it, sell it. So that American Iron V-twin, those parts, there's a shop in that white building there is a shop. Can I just see this Eldorado? Oh, put some cattle horns on the front of that. Ooh, it has the black interior. 76, I'd say, something like that. That's a beauty right there. Well, this is all part of the downtown. Hope your little town has a car shop like this. That old International pickup. There's a hood out on the sidewalk they're working on. Well, I've got one more thing on this side of the street to show you. Then we'll head over to the other side. Now you got all these hot rods around. You're going to need some gas. And I mean 100% gas, and you could get it here at the pit stop. No ethanol in that gas. It's got a little laundromat and a store in there. No booze. Pearl River County is a dry county. You can't buy a bottle of booze. You got to go 5-10 miles into Louisiana or Hancock County. They have a couple of restaurants that have it by the drink. Get a glass of wine with your meal or something. But there's no bottle shops. It's a dry county. And of course that road there goes north, Highway 11. But this pit stop has the great pure gas, and that gas is great for small motors, chainsaws, weed eaters, lawnmowers, and boat motors. That ethanol tends to gum up the carburetor, so you get you some pure gas here. It's a little more expensive, but those little engines love it. All right, we'll head to the other side of the street and southbound. Well, we're over here in Shea Park, across from the CNR building. There's the downtown, the Shea steam locomotive. Now this little engine here would be typical between 1890 and 1940. These little engines would go off in these little spurs into the woods, a pine forest, and load up on logs and bring them back to the mill. This is not a big transcontinental engine. This is more for going off on these dummy lines and pick up logs and bring them back to the mill. And I'll explain in a minute about how important the railroads were in this part of the woods, part of the world. Back here you had a little tool cart. Might be pulled by a little engine. And railroad workers would load this up with tools, repair parts for the railroad lines, do a lot of repairs. And there's PJ's Coffee over there. Wonderful coffee. And this little stretch of grass here has a farmer's market on Saturday. And there's nothing against you come down here and just park under the trees. But that's an active railroad line. Your peace and quiet will be disrupted for a few minutes when a big freighter comes by. All right, let's head southbound. A couple more things to show you here in the small town. Now we stopped out front of here, the Picayune Drug Company, local pharmacy here. What's unique about this one is, as you go through, it looks like a drugstore. You can get your prescriptions filled and buy your ointments. But in the back is a small room, kind of a long, narrow room. It's got a lot of chairs, a couple of tables. There's a coffee maker and a donation jar. And in the morning between 8 and 11 or so, old timers go in there and sit back in that room. They make their own coffee, put $1 in the jar, and that's where tall tales and history are told. Someday maybe we'll go invade there and get some stories, but it's a little hidden gem here in a small town. The old coffee room where the old timers in the morning. You'll see that at McDonald's every now and then. You'll see the old timers sitting around at 7 in the morning. And this is Canal Street over here, from right to left. It seems like every town in this part of the world has a canal street. Of course, there's a famous canal street in New Orleans. So everybody's got to have a canal street, I imagine. There's a bandstand over here that's new, last couple years. There'll be bands set up there for the spring and fall street fair. These are coastal oaks, I believe. And at night, the trunks are lit up with white lights, little string lights. It's very pretty. And of course, at 10 o'clock at night out here is just quiet. There's nobody around. And for Sunday morning, people are pretty active on the roads before they get to church at 11 and before the steamy heat comes out. So let's go over here and give you a little peek at Canal Street here in Picayune. Well, this is Canal Street. We're looking west, and it's filled with little shops, crafts, galleries, antiques. It's a busy little section of commerce. During the street fair, that'll be filled with booths on the sidewalk and people milling about, buying stuff. And they're remodeling this old building right here. They've taken the old stucco off, replacing the windows. That's an old one. That's a goodie. And I'll tell you, when you have old street lights like that, you are in an old small town. Let's go back ways. There's stone walls over there. You want some barbecue? Man. I think barbecue to go there, a sandwich or some ribs or something, probably $10. And they're real quick. They will serve you up quick. Fire pit in there. That's some good old barbecue in that place. A little more view of the train station over there. Let's go over there and check it out. If you're on this side of the tracks and the big train comes in switching engines, you're going to be waiting a long time. Now we're here at the Picayune train station. Yes, we have Amtrak here. The Amtrak train comes about 8 in the morning during the week. All aboard. Now I went in here several years ago expecting to see the big board on the wall, all the departures and arrivals and train lines. No. It's all online. Go online to get your ticket, find out where you're going. They have the Crescent Line and they have the, I don't know, Northwest Virginia Line or whatever. And, but I believe it's $180, $200. You get on the train here, and I think it's a 20 to 25 hour ride to Grand Central Station in New York City. Now, personally, I have no desire to go to New York City, but if you wanted to go by rail, yeah, I'd just pick you up a seat here in Picayune. Inside the train station is a wonderful museum. Trains have a lot to do with Picayune, particularly now when the trains head south that way to New Orleans. The terrain is pretty flat, so you don't need a lot of power to pull. Well, you do need a lot of power to pull these big freighters. But as you head north, the terrain gets a little hilly. You're heading up to Meridian or up to Chicago. So they'll add an engine here. And as they come south, they'll take an engine off because you don't need that engine to get into New Orleans. The passenger trains are lighter, so they don't switch engines. They have 2 engines on them, and that gets them up and down. But some of these big, long freighters, they need an extra engine to get north, to go north. So they drop off one headed south, and they pick one up headed north. Great museum in there. There's a map of the rail lines, 1900, 1910 through 1950. It looks like a river map with all the tributaries and little creeks. Those are train lines. And what they used to do is run these dummy lines off into the pine forest, harvest the pines, bring them back to the mill, and even get the stumps. They'd even harvest the stumps because they make turpentine and pulp for paper products. Everything went. Now, they did plant seedlings when they left, and that's what you see when you head north through the pine belt of Mississippi. Those are all young trees. But when they got done with the dummy line, they pull up the rails, they pull up the ties, pull it all out of there, and go set them up somewhere else. And over the years, all these little train lines, dead-end lines off into the forest, getting the lumber. That was big economy in this area. Several mills all over the place in Louisiana and here. But the biggest one in Picayune was the Goodyear Yellow Pine Lumber Company. And it was about 5 miles southwest of here. Huge. Lots of buildings, lots of factory kind of stuff. Mills, paper, pulp, turpentine. That's all gone now. There is a industrial park down there that is currently run by the Crosby Chemical Company. I don't know what they got. The varnishes. What are they making down there? You see a lot of trucks coming off of Highway 11 going in there. Also was told that there's a process where they collect sand. You know, the ground around here is mostly sand on top, and then you get into some of that red clay. They process the sand and ship it off, and it's used in fracking. They shoot it down into the well and push the oil and gas up. So you'll see big rail containers like that one right there filled with sand going down to Houston or Texas or the oil fields, Oklahoma. And there's other chemical processing going on. It's a lot of people employed there. Across the street, you can get your car stereo done. And something I really like down here, do you see it? Do you see it? No, not the barber shop. Two Sisters Creole Kitchen. Oh man. That's a little bitty restaurant, family owned for years. Excellent food. You can get it to go. They have a couple little tables in there. And it's Creole. It's not Cajun, it's Creole. And Creole is actually more Caribbean and African, whereas Cajun, originally the Cajuns came from up in Canada, Arcadia. And so their food is more of a French and local gumbo types. Creole actually down here, many would just call it soul food. More of a black recipe than a Cajun recipe. Very excellent though. Reasonable price. Got an insurance company here. And again, these, I'm calling them coastal oaks. Very sturdy. Been here for years. Across the street over there is Hot Rod Heaven. Oh, we ought to go there someday, huh? Go see what they're working on. And you got this old chemical tanker. But right over there is Hot Rod Heaven Collision Center. And they'll work on your hot rod. It's big around here. A lot of custom cars, old cars, classics. Maybe more than California or Florida. You would think with the humidity it wouldn't be good, but I don't know, they're here. Okay, one more stop as we're southbound in a little town. Oh, the famous Frost Top mug. Now the Frost Top is just down the street here. This mug was on top of the building. And at one point it blew off. And I guess they couldn't afford to put it back up, but they didn't want to junk it. So here at the train station and the museum, they found a good spot for the mug. And here it sits. You could sit out here, this little park. It's very nice. And don't forget, coming up on August 4th, go down to St. Paul's and you can see the Jungle Book. Adults 15, students 10. August 4th and 5th at 6:30 p.m. August 6th, they'll have one at 2 o'clock. Picayune on stage, the Jungle Book. Down this way we got another place I think you'd like. I don't think she's open, but that's Granny G's. Granny G's. Fresh hot tamales, hot boiled peanuts. Got a drive-through. Probably the original drive-through. Don't know if they got a... See if they got a menu. But that's Granny G's. Very popular. You see a lot of cars in here at lunchtime. Here's the drive-through window. Hello! I'm just doing a little film. Are you the famous Granny G?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Is she still with us?
No, she isn't.
And what is your general menu? You don't mind being on camera. It's just a YouTube video I do.
Oh, no.
I could turn it this way.
It doesn't matter. Snowballs.
Snowballs mainly, no hamburgers, hot dogs?
Yeah, we do hot dogs.
Do hot dogs?
And some nachos.
Nachos.
Nuts.
Tamales?
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful. Now, are you open now, or are you just prepping?
No, I'm just doing work for Indy. Yes, we're not open until noon.
On Sundays you're open at noon?
Yes.
And during the week you're open?
From 11 to 8.
11 to 8. Well, it's wonderful. And how long have you been in business?
For 27 years.
27 years.
Yes.
And the same owner, Granny G, and she passed it on down to her kids or whatever?
Yes.
That's wonderful. Wonderful. And you're not moving?
No.
Wonderful. That's great. We love it. I'm doing a little video on small towns.
Oh, okay. Well, that's awesome.
And this is my favorite.
Oh, okay. Well, good.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
All
I
right.
appreciate that.
Well, thanks for telling us about it. Well,
No problem. You have a great day.
you too. Granny G's. 27 years. Okay, let's go over to Frost Top. Well, that's a famous Frost Top over there. It gets real busy during the week. I think it's closed today, Sunday the 23rd. But they have hamburgers, hot dogs, other stuff, milkshakes, soda drinks. They got a place to sit down in there. In that front part, you can walk up and order. You get a cheeseburger fully loaded, fries, and a Coke, about $6. A very popular spot when they're open. They need to cut their grass a little bit. We got cash loans over there and a shoe repair. Does your little town have a cobbler? That's our little town cobbler. And Destiny's Gifts, I guess that is, on the end there. And one of my favorites is Dave's Barbershop. That is a little hometown barbershop right there. I think haircut is $12. Yeah, that's Dave's Barbershop. He's open Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You know, in a small town, you're not going to get the regular hours. Somebody like Dave owns that place. He's only going to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. He's taking Saturday and Sunday off. Taking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He's taking Thursday off too. Sometimes it's because of lack of business. Other times it's just that's his schedule. Now off in the distance over there you can see the First Baptist Church spire. And one of my next videos, we'll go down Goodyear Boulevard and show you all that. Again, trains are big in Picayune. There's some cargo cars waiting to be moved. Talk about good eats. You want some good eats? You need to come to Nick's. Oh, he's closed this week. This butcher is great. He'll give you samples. He'll pull out the meat. How do you want it cut? Well, he's closed. Vacation. And there's Granny G's over there. Well, this ends this little tour of downtown. there's plenty to see other spots around here in this town of 11,000. It really grew after Katrina. People come up from New Orleans to escape the floods and all that. Some of them went back, some stayed. And because of Katrina and the influx of folks down here, up here, it grew quite a bit. I've been told that before Katrina, this really was like Mayberry. You know, the deputy with one bullet. But a lot of them are returned, and also there's a lot of development on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain. So they've decided to move back down there. But because the influx of folks, they put in a Walmart, Home Depot, Tractor Supply, and 2 McDonald's. So we got that going for us. Well, I hope you like my little tour of my small town. I wasn't born here, I wasn't raised here, but I found it. And it's been wonderful. I've been here 3.5 years. It's a great home base.